Hello everyone. There is a flawless game called Skyrim that is known to have no issues at all and be completely perfect. I will be talking about 6 things in particular that I don't like about Skyrim. I thought about making a different type of video this time. The reason why I want to make this video is actually 3 reasons. First reason is just to discuss it with you, the handsome viewer. The second reason is when I play Skyrim or when I mod Skyrim, I am trying to mod it in a way where I can fix those things, which can also be a thing for a different video or modding series of sort. The third reason is that when it comes to other RPG games like Daunted Grail that I'm playing right now, amazing game by the way, or the Elder Scrolls 6 coming out, Avowed, or even Sky Oblivion, I would like those games not to have those. Here is the 6 things I hate about Skyrim. First one is the leveling. I hate how the leveling works in Skyrim. I think it's really bad. It's not only the scaling. I used to love games like classic World of Warcraft, where there were zones that had extremely high level enemies and other zones that had very low level enemies, similar to Fallout New Vegas really. I love when this is a thing versus everything getting scaled around you. Skyrim also has this weird thing where the higher difficulty you are going to put, me being a Giga Chat of course, Grigot, I always play on master difficulty because I enjoy hurting myself, doesn't everyone? The problem is when I play on master difficulty, I think it's super fun and challenging, but I enter Bleak Falls Barrow as level 1 and after half an hour of some high action gameplay, I leave this place at level 15. That means by the time I will end up doing 2 or 3 dungeons, I will essentially reach mid-game. This makes it very weird because in an hour or 2 of gameplay, I essentially completely overthrow all of the mid-game. There is other issues like that as well. When it comes to leveling, I think Skyrim feels very generic and is something I will always try to fix when it comes to modding the game. The next one is something that I find many people talk about, and this is the survival aspect of the game. I was never a survival Andy when it comes to games, but the game that actually changed me many years ago was Fallout New Vegas. Skyrim on the other hand is not like that, and if you think about it, Skyrim literally throws you at the frozen tundra of Skyrim. Everything is cold and snowy, and it makes no sense where you have no control over your own survival. That's eating, wearing warm clothes, and all of this kind of shenanigans. I know that some of you will come and say, Kavou, there is this survival mode that exists on the Creation Club. Why is that a separate thing? That should be included in the base game, and not only that, but the survival mode is kinda lacking. I am using the survival mode because it's better than nothing. There is also mods to use from the Nexus. It's lacking. There is no such thing as the harsh environment. Hell, I think I had a harder time surviving in the sunny Cyrodiil in Oblivion than actual Skyrim, which makes no sense. This also takes away from the roleplay aspect of the game, and again, it's something that bothers me so much when it comes to Skyrim. I mean, I don't know what you think about this one. The third thing is the guilds. I'm sorry to say, but I hate how the guilds work in Skyrim. Now hold on your pants there. I'm not saying I dislike the guilds. I like the guilds in Skyrim, but what I dislike is that how you can essentially be a complete psychopath and be a member of the Dark Brotherhood, the great listener who murders people just for the joy of killing people, and at the same time be a member of the Honorable Companions while joining the Mages Guild when you don't cast a single spell.
He's also head of the Dark Brotherhood now.
Nope, f that. I'm not doing that.
And the Companion. Thieves Guild now, come to think.
This does not make sense, and you might say, oh Kavou, this is fine. No, it's not. Here is the thing. In all the previous Elder Scrolls games, I've played Morrowind, I've played Oblivion, there was restrictions. I think that with restrictions, it makes it where every time you're going to have a new playthrough and you are going to create a specific character with a specific playstyle, you will have again different type of things happening. The guilds kinda work in a similar fashion of a druid in World of Warcraft. you have access to everything but you excel at nothing type of mentality, which means you can become a member of every single guild, there is no restrictions, and this doesn't feel very unique. And again, roleplay wise, I mean, it's not very good, guys. There is much for that, maybe that can be a theme of another video, but I love the idea that if, let's say, you will join the Thieves Guild and you will do some quest to progress through the Thieves Guild quest line, you will not be able to join the companions. And not only that, but you will get dialogues where people will comment on that, they will kinda laugh at you, the companions that is. I would love this type of thing where it will create those interesting interactions, have this thing where, depending on your actions and which guild you join, the other guilds that don't like you, they will have different interactions. Again, I think that from Morrowind through Oblivion and now through Skyrim, we're having this thing where there is no restrictions at all, the guilds are feeling extremely generic. It's very painful for me to have every time I play Skyrim, because growing old, guys, means that you see the things you love and all the crumbles they have, and when it comes to the guilds of Skyrim, it's really bad, to the point where I go back to play the older games and I appreciate this so much more than before. The fourth thing I hate about Skyrim is the towns. You might say, Kavou, the towns of Skyrim, they look so good. Wrong! Yes, they look good if you have low standards.
He's not up to Pollo's standards.
The towns of Skyrim, or the cities of Skyrim should I say, they feel extremely small. The capital of Morrowind, for instance, and I'm gonna make a comparison here with Skyrim's capital, which is Solitude. The Morrowind's capital has over 330 unique NPCs, and correct me if I'm wrong. Solitude has around 50 or 60 unique named NPCs, and that's the capital of Skyrim. The Morrowind capital has over 60 buildings or something like that. It's a lot, guys, while Solitude has around 10 or 13 buildings. Solitude is literally 1 or 2 streets that you can go through that contains the castle or the palace and a bunch of stores. It's literally a glorified village, and that's supposed to be the capital of Skyrim. I can take this comparison with Oblivion, for instance. It dwarfs how small the towns and cities of Skyrim look like. You can look at Morthal, which sometimes I get comments from the guards to move because I block the traffic. Dude, what do you mean? It's freaking Morthal. The only person that could be moving there is the dead people. When it comes to Skyrim, try to portray you as this amazing dude, the Dragonborn who does everything, kills dragons and drains their souls while he sleeps with your mom. When you put this heroic figure into this type of world that Skyrim has, which is beautiful by the way, I'm not doing this video to hate on the game. When you put this heroic character and you put him inside those cities and towns, it feels like you are nothing more than a random marauder running around random villages. The cities of Skyrim, they don't feel heroic, they don't feel big and glorified. Yes, I like Whiterun because it's one of my most favorite cities. I like Solitude as well. I like the cities of Skyrim, but again, they feel small, and feeling small when they try to portray you as this incredible character takes away from the game for me. It's something that always bothered me. There is many mods to kinda transform the cities into bigger places, but usually those mods are kinda buggy. And when it comes to looking back again to both Oblivion and Morrowind, Skyrim cities is something that I think Bethesda have done dirty, and it's something that I always look back with a bit of resentment. The fourth thing I hate about Skyrim, it's something that I used to hate about all the previous Elder Scrolls games. It's just Skyrim, it feels pretty much the same. It's the bugs.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to be looking for.
The glitches of the game, the horrible scripting, the nave mess issues with the movement of NPCs, making them look very derpy, and all of the broken things you can achieve in the game. I hate this idea that it's a theme and Bethesda expects for the modders to come with those unofficial patches to fix their own problems, and that Bethesda hardly ever patches their games to fix most of those. They always let the modders come up with those unofficial patches. I hate the concept of that. It is extremely toxic, not only for us but for the modders and everyone who likes to play those games. When and if Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, it's gonna have a bazillion bugs and problems, and that's not the problem because you can always fix those, but Bethesda instead is not going to fix any of that and will let the modders resolve the situation with another unofficial patch for Elder Scrolls 6. Aside from that, it makes the gameplay really bad and boring. Even when you put thousands of mods to fix that, when you see enemies stacking up with the nave messes and having very weird movement and glitching around, when you see all of the random things happening, like if you're on the survival mode, there is a weird bug with attack speed, and again this is something that I really hate when it comes to Skyrim. The fifth thing I hate about Skyrim is Skyrim. Wait, what? What do you mean, Kavou? What's the point of this? If you read about Skyrim, it's supposed to be this magical land of dragons, an incredible misty lands, the snowing mountains, and it gives all of those, you know, Lord of the Rings vibes, and when you look at Oblivion and Morrowind, you expect to have this amazing unique theme, and very similar to the cities and towns of Skyrim, we instead get some generic stuff like some tundras and some snowy areas, and again the world of Skyrim feels kinda lackluster. It could be so much more better and so much more magical, and I feel this is a thing that for a fantasy game it kinda drags me down. Any other RPG I'm playing, for instance, I'll be playing lots of Tainted Grail, you get this amazing aesthetic, the dark areas, the unique effects, super cool places to explore and all of that. And lastly, the sixth thing I hate about Skyrim is the enemy variation. I am not trying to be biased, but I think in Skyrim, guys, if it wasn't for the Dwemer, I think Skyrim will be as boring as Starfield. It was thanks to the Dwemer, once again, that we've got this amazing diversity when it comes to enemies and things that you do and all of the lore and the unique locations and all of that. Skyrim essentially is you exploring around and you're killing drows, which is super cool by the way, and bandits. You have some dragons, you have some other things here and there, but essentially that's it. Not only that, but the enemies you fight, they don't have unique weaknesses. It was thanks to the Downguard DLC, where we've got vampires later on, where we were actually having enemies with unique resistances. Even before that in the vanilla game, we only had the Dwemer with their unique weaknesses. If you check all the previous Elder Scrolls games, we had so many unique and different enemies with different weaknesses and strengths, where you had to roleplay your way around it. There were enemies that you could only kill with magical weapons or with specific spells. In Skyrim, if it wasn't for the Dwemer and later on the Downguard DLC, I don't think we will ever had any type of unique enemies with unique resistances. And there are some dragons that take, you know, less fire damage, but I think Skyrim, it's the worst game that Bethesda has made that has the least amount of that. Actually, not the worst, that will be Starfield actually. But again, that's the thing I really don't like about it. One of the things I like to do when it comes to modding Skyrim is I like to use combat overhauls like Blade and Blunt is a good example of that, or other small mods to essentially fix that, where every encounter and most of the enemies have their unique weaknesses and strengths and you can play around it, and this makes all of the encounters so much more unique, which improves again the whole experience of the game. That was pretty much the 6 things that I mostly hate about Skyrim. I wish not to see in other RPGs that we are going to get in the future, or things that I would love to fix when it comes to Skyrim through modding. Those are the 6 things. Let me know what you think. It was nice seeing you. Sorry for the random video, and I will see you later. Until then, happy modding.